this is what I like. I like this. There's something about in the evening driving by myself, nobody around, taking corners and just like feeling the air, and with radio all the way off. I want to hear the engine.
Yeah.
I want to hear the engine noise.
Nice.
You know, that's what I want. Like I want to hear like rubber. I don't know. It's like therapy to me. I love it. I'm Victor Stillday. I am a chef, musician, and I've been in Vendetta Spoken for way too long. My first car was a Mitsubishi Eclipse. It was a 91 GSX.
In ancient times, an eclipse moved people to powerful emotions. Some even thought it called for a sacrifice. We can understand how an eclipse might produce feelings of excitement, wonder, even awe. But at $10,959, the Mitsubishi Eclipse is hardly a sacrifice. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
The first car that I got, it was a neighbor's, like, okay, so the neighbor that I had at the time, he's kind of like a older guy. Like, I want to say he was maybe, it's funny to think about now, like, I'm probably older than he was right now. Funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a daughter that I always talked to, and she was kind of like, you know, the girl next door kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We always had like this interesting relationship where like it seemed like our grandparents were trying to get us to date or something, you know. Yeah. But her dad was super cool. He had like a Corvette that he kept in the garage there, and like I would see him come out and clean this thing up, and like, you know, and like we'd talk about it and all the time, and just, you know, he was kind of like this car guy. Like it just, you know, you could tell, like,
yeah,
you know, like. But he was like cruising around like a Mazda, like a rotary engine, like a RX-5 or something like that. And I always thought those were really nice. And he had like this Eclipse, and I was like, man, that thing is cool too. And he gave his daughter these sporty cars, and she drove those around all the time. So when I was looking for a car, I was just like, oh man, I want to buy something. And then in passing, I was just talking to him because I talk to him all the time. And he was just like, hey, I'm selling this Eclipse right here. He's like, you know, give me $1,400 and I'll, you know, it's yours. So I did. I gave him $1,400 and he just handed it over. It's a manual. I think that specific model was an all-wheel drive turbo 6-speed.
Oh, nice.
Which is for like a 15-year-old kid is like way too much.
Yeah, you're gonna tear shit up.
Yeah, and not only that, I didn't know how to drive a manual at the time, you know, like,
yeah.
My aunt, she grew up in the country, and she was just like, no, I'm gonna show you how to do this. And she went through the arduous like time of teaching me how to do this thing. And like, you know, I'm short shifting, and I'm like, you know, going way too fast, or not shifting quick enough, or killing the engine all the time, or just doing the jerk thing where it's like moving back and forth where you can't get it in gear and stuff, and pulling off my clutch too fast, and just all these, like, all the mistakes you can make. But like, it took me a summer of just messing with this thing, and all of a sudden it just clicked. I don't know what happened.
Right. You just get it.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to explain because she told me the fundamentals, but I didn't understand. And then she gave up. And then I messed with it, and I was like, oh, I get it now. It's just like, you know, I see it's just like passing, you know, like I'm passing the clutch into this and moving it, you know, and to start to feel more loose and more like like what it wanted to do. And I miss it. I mean, I probably shouldn't have got rid of it. I think I ended up like blowing a head or something on it. like I had it for like a couple of years, and it just didn't, you know, like young kid not doing proper maintenance and stuff like that, you know.
That's everyone's first car just goes to shit because none of us were taught proper maintenance.
I wish I still had it. The thing was awesome. I mean, it kind of gave me the bug though. Like I was definitely like, I'm a sporty car guy now.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You know, like this is what I like. I like this. There's something about in the evening driving by myself, nobody around, taking corners and just like feeling the air, and with radio all the way off. I want to hear the engine. I want to hear the engine noise.
Nice.
You know, that's what I want. Like I want to hear like rubber. I don't know. It's like therapy to me. I love it. Like sometimes, like if I'm down in the dumps or something like that, I'll go cruise. Like even today, like I'll just be like, I need some windshield time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this thing, and it just feels good.
It totally does.
Yeah.
That's why I look forward to road trips now, not just for the destination, but for the drive.
Yeah.
I went with a buddy to help him move to Idaho, and we pulled my car behind the U-Haul. And the next morning, we got there late. I slept for like 2 hours, got up, and then got on the road. The drive there was like 15 hours. I made it back in 12. Just a nice drive by myself, though, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That.
Ever since then, I got that bug of being on the road, just driving and going through music I haven't listened to in forever and seeing new territory.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think that was instilled in me at like a very young age. I have like 4 siblings. There's 12 of us in general.
Jesus.
But from my mom, there's 5 of us. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in her driving around, you know, like she would like put music on, windows down, give us snacks, and we would just like drive. You know, that's what we did. I remember feeling the sun on my face and like taking a nap, you know?
Yeah.
And there's just something about that, you know, or like smelling the air. North Dakota has a very distinct smell compared to like most places. Like I live in Minnesota for a while, so like I can smell that. I know what that is. But when I get to North Dakota, when I'm crossing into Fargo and all that, like it smells different. Like the weeds smell differently. And I love that. It's just like super nostalgic for me. Like it's like a dopamine hit, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I just had a guest on and we were talking about nostalgia. And then we got onto scent, and I brought up how every once in a while I've gotten into somebody else's car or gone into a place and a scent will hit me and just take me to a specific time and place. It's total time travel, but it's also a huge dopamine hit because I don't know, it feels good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, definitely. I do have. I mean, I miss that stuff, so I do it a lot. Like if I'm, I guess, you know, feeling down, bad day. Actually, that really helps though because I work at the casino, so like I'm actually like I'm driving 45, 50 minutes every day.
Oh, cool.
2 ways.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know, it feels good. I can unwind, you know, like I get hit really hard at work. It's busy, whatever. I come home. When I come home, I can decompress.
Right.
It's like windows down, feeling North Dakota air. It's good.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful drive too. I mean, like,
it is.
I don't know if you've gone down that way often, but it follows the riverbed essentially until you get to the Cannonball border, then it comes up and over. But that entire, it's windy, it's twisty, it's green, there's farms, there's hills. It's a beautiful drive.
How long you been in Vendetta, or when did you guys start then?
Oh man, we started in like 2007. So like a little after the way I mean, okay, I think like the scene at that time was like you guys, and there was like so many awesome bands, and there was like kind of like a crust grindy thing going on here.
Uh-huh.
And that was super inspiring to me because like at the time I was fresh to guitar playing and I just like started I was seeing everything with rose colored glasses, I guess, you know, like, ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. And there was just, I don't know, I was just inspired. It took a while to get a band going. It just, musicians around here are hard to come by. People, I mean, and I didn't feel like I was quite in the scene. Like, I didn't know anyone, you know, like I didn't know you guys. I didn't know, you know, any of the Happy End guys. I didn't know anybody. So for me, I was like, I got to start fresh. How do I do that? So I started recording music on my own and just kind of being like, this is what I want to do. This is the proof of concept. And I just started showing people like, oh, here's this. This is what I do. This is what I do. And I found all kinds of...
Check out my demo, bro.
Yeah. I found all kinds of interesting musicians that weren't in the scene, but probably for a good reason. You know, they were just a little sketchy or a little, you know, a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I bought a like a PV, like a Valve King. I don't know. It's kind of like a budget line, I think. And it was a 100-watt head, and I was really interested in it because it was kind of in my price range, and like I was like, I want to buy this. So I went to Arnold at Eckroth. This is an Eckroth is like in their old spot. And I bought the amp. I was just like, oh man, this is great. I leave, and my buddy Dean, he went in there right after I left and wanted to buy that same amp. And was like, oh, I wanted to buy this amp. I got the money for it. And then Arnold's like, sorry, I just sold it to a friend. It's gone now. And he's just like, actually, you should get a hold of him. I think you'd like him.
Oh, nice.
So Arnold gave him my phone number.
Yeah.
And he just reached out to me. And I don't know, it was like fate or something, or I don't know if I really believe in that, but
yeah, right.
You know, like we hit it off. Like, I mean, there was like a clear, I don't know, like this has to happen, you know? So that was it. It was just him and I.
Good thing he wasn't a maniac and he just wanted that app, that amp.
No, I would say equally as important to Vendetta as I am. And just from the get-go, he was the guy, you know? Our chemistry, our writing chemistry, our playing chemistry, everything, it was just great. Like, it just perfect.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, writing chemistry, man, that goes a long way.
It does go a long way. I think, like, there has to be... You have to be able to turn the faucet on and off, right?
Right.
When you turn it on, there has to be water. You know, like, if there isn't water, like, why even do it? You know? So, yeah, we started in 2007. We were kind of like looking for other people. And we started just hitting the socials, you know, like at the time MySpace was really big.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of felt different already from the scene like that was going on. You guys were very grassroots and DIY, and like you guys were in each other's spaces. Like you guys grew up around each other. And,
right.
You know, and whereas we were more of an online thing, like at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were finding people in Fargo and people in like other states, you know, like this is what we want to do. Are you guys interested? So I don't know. We did that for like a year or so, and then I don't think we took off really until 2008. Like there was just like a year or so of him and I just stewing on material.
Mm-hmm.
It felt right, so we did it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota. At the time though, I was moving back and forth. My parents, my mom's from here. My dad's from Red Lake, Minnesota. And I was moving back and forth, like, or, you know. But I went through middle school, high school, you know, here. Just kind of not really knowing what I wanted to do or be or, like, any of that stuff, you know. You know, like, very, very, like, I don't know, introverted.
Yeah.
You know, Like, but I think like as time went on, I started to realize I was all in my head, and like I started going more shows. I started to meet more people, all that stuff. Like to see that there was like an actual community of musicians that existed here, and they had their own thing going on, and it felt right. But I think that's like, because at the time when we were taking off, a lot of the guys around here were hanging it up.
Yeah.
Like you didn't. You were still doing stuff. You were like, I think you were starting Wicked Darling or something around that time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
Even then the scene changed.
Yeah.
It really did. Like there was a clear like line, like this grindy crust thing just kind of went away, and then all of a sudden there was like, I guess, the Light Club, and there was more of like a Christian metal thing going on, which was kind of interesting. I mean, we weren't really a part of that, but we played similar music,
Mm-hmm.
We were a little more of like this metalcore kind of stuff, and it just it wasn't that, like we didn't have that. So I don't know. I feel like the scene had a branch for like a moment, and we were definitely more standoffish to each other than you guys were. Like the scene you came from was more of a community, and you guys like went to shows together and saw each other all the time. And, like,
Right. And all our bands were kind of inbred.
Yeah. Yeah.
With each other.
Yeah. And that was something that I wanted. I was like, I want to be part of that. That's cool. But like, it just went away. Like everyone was doing different things. People moved. Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then we had like other contemporary bands with us. They were a little more like standoffish, more like, this is my territory, and like this is. So I think like just that in general, I think that created a weird sense of competition within Vendetta. We were always that band that was like, we're gonna win. Like, I know that's kind of weird.
Right.
That's I mean, like looking back on it, I think that's idiotic, but like
for sure,
it feels like that's what we were forced to be.
Yeah, it can rub people the wrong way. I can see that.
Yeah,
and it wasn't only you. It must have been a vibe or something happening with the music scene. I've talked about it with other people too. Even back in the day, it became a competition in a sense, but not throughout the whole time. You know, like you said, you saw it from the outside in, and it looked more like a community. And then there's another shift, and yeah, you're right, like a competition. But it wasn't just you guys. You know, I think everybody was kind of feeling that way.
I think so too. Like I feel like it was the vibe. You know, like everyone was like that. Whenever we played shows, it was like that. We didn't have like, you know how you have like buddy bands, Yeah. We didn't have that. Like we were always in combat mode. Like that was always our thing. Like, oh no, like this is gonna suck. Like, oh no, like these guys are gonna hate us. Like, like that was something that we always like were like aware of. Like just the vibe was there.
Do you remember what your first concert was going to? Or maybe even the venue?
I went to a show, and it was called the Midtowner at the time. And I want to say this is 2001.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And that was the first show that I went to here. And when I went in, didn't know what to expect. I remember I was going to school, and I remember seeing like a flyer for it. And there was like all these crazy names on there. And I was like, what is this? It just seems so established compared to, like I had to know. So I went and I went downstairs, and I was a little late. I get there and the place is packed. It's like you go in this, it's like a door on the north, right? And it goes down some stairs, and you take a left, and it's just like all the way front to back. There was like kids in there. And I was talking to
Taylor. He never got to go to the shows there, and we were getting, I think you could fill 300, but we'd always get around that more or less.
Man, that's awesome. Like that number too, like that's great. Like thinking about
Right,
that,
it seems unreal for today's.
It does. Like that seems on the high end for today.
Yeah.
But like that was every time you guys did a show. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wild. When I think the first band I remember seeing on there was Demogorgon.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, death metal here? Interesting. Like I had no clue, you know? And then I think TSS played. No, it was Sugar and Spikes. It was Sugar
Jesus.
and Spikes at the time.
Yeah, pre-TSS.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I think it was Sugar and Spikes for 1 year. And then we broke up only to really kick out our bass player, get a new bass player, new band name.
I remember that too. I remember Lane was there and he had Liberty Spikes
Oh, yeah?
in his hair.
Yeah.
And I don't know what project he was doing, but he went up on the mic and he was screaming around and he grabbed a cymbal and he like threw it in the crowd. Like,
Oh, Jesus.
just the most punk thing I've ever seen in my life. And
Yeah.
just hit somebody, you know? And I'm like, this place is wild. I'm like, what is going on? It just like, that was the first time I've ever seen Lane.
Yeah.
So like I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anybody, you know? So that was my first impression. I'm like, wow, these guys are rough, you know, these guys like, but that was just to think about it. Like, that's kind of a rare thing. I don't know if people don't really.
Yeah. I don't recall any symbols really be tossed out into the audience.
I don't think
I'm glad we didn't live in a time of cell phones back then. Some of these shows were pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, or even saying things on stage that are like,
oh yeah,
that you would look back on and be like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yep. One sec. I came across some other flyers the other day. I remember, yeah, here's one from 2002, Demogorgon.
You know what sucks a little bit too is like I don't remember there being a date on the flyers except like Wednesday, March something, right? With no year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had to go through a bunch of my flyers and just check like, okay, it was on a Saturday, January 13th. And then I can narrow down the year.
So it was the Starlight after the Midtowner, right?
Yep, and this one's Starlight too. This is a different one. It's got Dying Humanity, Roost, Demogorgon, The Process. Dying Humanity was our name for a show or two before we were TSS.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I forgot about that until I'm looking at the flyer right
Roost,
now.
is that Dave?
Yep.
Dave's, oh, okay, yeah. And The Process, who was in that?
I don't recall. Yeah, there's a few bands on these flyers.
I remember this flyer specifically because of the people with the 3D glasses on.
Yeah.
Friday, November 22nd. Was this like 2001?
2002, I think that one is.
2002? So that you had SOS at this time.
Yeah.
Right? God, $5, man. You can't beat that.
Yeah, it was always $5, 5 bands, 5 hours.
Ah, jeez, that's great. Man. Why did we do such cool things back in the day?
Yeah, what happened? We just got old.
Those are awesome. So I had this idea of like taking a bunch of old flyers. I had a restaurant idea that I was working on. Don't want to give all the details, but I was gonna use like instead of plates, use baskets, you know, and have all the baskets be lined with old show flyers.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that would be awesome.
But
that's something that still can be done sometime.
I am actively working on it, so it may still be a thing. So my family had a Ford Escort, and I want to say this thing was like maybe an 87 or an 88, and it was red, 2-door hatchback, front wheel drive. the family just used it. My mom used it. I used it. You know, like everyone kind of took turns using it. I remember we were having a little get together. We had some family that lived up in the Devil's Lake area, and my uncle lived up there. So we were all over at his house, and we're just kind of like, everyone was standing outside. We arrived late, you know. Everyone's giving hugs and, oh, how's it going? You know, that kind of thing. And I get there and I drove there. So this is pretty early on. So one of the rare times I drove long distance by myself, you know, like not too often, but I did. I drove up there, followed my family, you know. They got there before I did. And as I got there, everyone's standing outside, and I see my cousins, you know, we're all like the same age. We're like we're all teenagers, you know, and I'm like waving at my cousins, and I kind of roll by, and I give it some gas, and I
turn show off a little bit.
I turn the wheel and try to show off a little bit. And he had he lived at the end of a farm service road.
Okay.
So like on one side there was his house, and he had like lake in his backyard, and then there was like a corn field across just on the other side of the road. And the little T approach on the end, I went to the T approach and spun around, and my cousins are all standing out there, and I'm like showing off, and there's like a ditch, and I didn't see it. To me it looked like a shadow, like I seen some weeds, so I'm like, yeah, that, you know, looks like ground there.
Yeah.
So I just fly into this thing, and I'm going like 25, and I just go nose down into like a deep ditch, and then just nose up. And everybody just laughed. Like, I don't know why they're like first like reaction, like, oh my god, you okay?
Right.
No, they just laughed. That's all I heard was laughter, and I was like, that really sucked. That was really embarrassing.
Yeah, that's got to be crushing. Because you're trying to be cool, you know?
Yeah. And, like, at the time, too, my cousins were driving before I was, you know. My cousin Kenny, my cousin Leland, they were already, like, driving around, you know. They're a little older than me, you know. It's kind of embarrassing.
Do you recall your first show playing with Vendetta?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Where was it?
It was at a place that John Herkus had.
Okay.
He had a place, like a barn.
Oh.
Way like past Minogan. I would say like just south of the interstate.
Yeah.
You would get on the Apple Creek Road, Highway 10, I think it's called. And you just keep driving. And then you get out there a little ways. And then he had this little metal Quonset. He just put punk shows on, and it was impromptu. We had the band, we had everything put together, and we just didn't have shows. We didn't have show offers. We didn't know how to get them. We didn't know who to talk to. Like, it was just random. And he'd reached out to, I think it was my sister, honestly, because my sister Rosa, like, a lot of people know her in the scene. Her and her ex-husband, they ran Project Noise. But, so she knew John Herkus and all that stuff. And he was like, he needs a band. You want to come out?
Was Project Noise going at this time?
No,
Okay.
no. She was still a little, because she's younger than me. So at the time I was out of school. She wasn't. She was still in school. So this wasn't a thing. Doing shows for her wasn't a thing yet. It took a little bit. But we get out there. I'm like, where is this place? We get out there, and like, there's like a handful of people, and I don't know who else played. I want to say Systems played because Mick was there. But, or so was Sean, and like, you know, so we get out, and there's like corn behind us, like a stack of corn, like,
Yeah.
in this thing, and we just plug in with extension cords, and we just play. And some people got some cool photos from that. It's just like this Quonset with a pile of corn behind us, and just the photos look really good.
Yeah, that's so North Dakotan.
Yeah, it really is. Like, and we, I think about this kind of funny. We look the part, right? You know, like, I think that was another clear difference between our generation and you guys, is you guys didn't really care about that. Like, you guys just played music, you know. Some people would do the fashion thing, some wouldn't, you know.
Right.
But I think, like, we actively thought about that, where we're like,
you gotta look the part if you're gonna sound the part. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it was something that we were, you know, we were like all wearing black, and we have the emo hair and like all this, you know, totally. Like all this stuff. And I don't know, it was fun. That was my first show. I love playing shows because it doesn't feel like anything else. There's nothing else you can equate it to.
Right.
And it feels like an itch that you just need to scratch sometimes. But I've always been like a writer first. Like, I've always wanted to be an artist before I was a performer. So shows were secondary, you know. I didn't think about them too often. But like, even if I could just write music, I will choose that over playing a show any day.
Yeah.
Because that's just what I do. I've always wanted to be like North Dakota's Prince, you know, like in output, you know.
Yeah.
I think during COVID, I did 120 songs.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
did you record these?
I did. Yeah.
Are they in your vault?
Yeah. I record demos. I just keep them.
Yeah.
You know, then every now and then if I start a project or some, you know, I'm like, oh, here's a bunch of demos and you check them out.
Right.
You know, there might be some good stuff in it. There might be some bad stuff in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And I think like getting it out is like the most important thing, especially for any artist. Like, you can't be attached to ideas. People get attached to ideas where they're just like, oh, this part is so cool, I want to use it. But is it though? You know, is it really cool? Like, or are you the only one that thinks it's cool?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So like for me, I had to get over that. You know, like I would write songs and I'd be like, I love this part. But then like you get to the point where you're just like, yeah, you know, I can write 100 more of those. So it's not, I'm not going to spend time. What I like to do is I like to write the song, put it out, like record the demo, not think about it. Come back like a week or so later and listen to it, like ear rest it. Come back and be like, was I onto something or was I full of shit? You know, like sometimes I'm like, whew, that's horrible. Why would I don't know what I was thinking, or, you know, and then sometimes I just hit the stride where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is.
Oh yeah.
And what's funny is like, I think like I've done it enough now where like I can definitely just turn it off and on, where I'm like, oh yeah, this is I know what I want to achieve when I write, so I do it. You know, like there's no randomness to it anymore. Which, I mean, that's just repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We got to the point where I think maybe we were just in our own heads, but we start to feel like people were sick of us, like here, because we just kept playing here over and over again. We got to the point where we were just like, let's not focus here anymore. Maybe 1 or 2 a year, if that. And then we started focusing more on like Fargo and Minot and, you know, other places other than here. And we've actually pissed some people off doing that a few times, where we're just like, no, we don't want to play that show. And then the show goes belly up because we didn't show up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had one specific moment happen like that. A bigger band, I don't want to say who the band is, was going to come through, and we had just played a show here. The show was like some bands that were up and coming. There was like Too Pure to Die. There was With Blood Comes Cleansing, I think. And there was just like a few of like these underground bands that were getting some notoriety. Bigger than definitely the bands around here. They came and played. We played with in that set. It was good. It was fun. And it was at the VFW actually in Bismarck. And it was in the basement. I remember that show just because it was hot and stinky. And so show went great. we get an offer to do another one because another big band's coming through, and it's right away. Like, it's literally like a month or like, you know, and they asked us right away, and I was like, no, like, give it, like, let someone else do it, you know,
Right.
like, you know, like, there's other bands here. It's not just us. We don't want to be those guys and just be like, oh, we get all the cool spots. No, like, I don't want that at all. You know, like, you know, there's other bands. Go to those guys. And then we find out that, like, the management of this bigger band basically said, oh, North Dakota doesn't deserve us because no one wants to show up.
Huh.
So they canceled the show.
Was
happened.
it a ticketed event?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
And they weren't selling, so they...
I guess not. I don't know. Like, I don't... And, like, I remember the blame kind of being put on us because, like, we didn't want to play it, so that means that no one was going to show up. I don't understand that. You know, like...
Yeah, somebody passed the blame, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Maybe a promoter or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know the whole story of it, but I remember we caught some flack from, like, a management team because of that.
Oh, that sucks.
You know, like, oh, you're not supporting us, like, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
like, everyone would die to support us, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't know we had to. You know, like, can't we share? Like, can't we let someone else try it?
Quite
You know?
the ego, man. Jeez. Yeah, it comes back around to the competition aspect. And of course you're going to feel that way too. You know, after a moment like that.
Yeah.
That got it got a little competitive with promoters too. And I never understood why. I would do shows. I did it for years. And then Herkus got into it and Lane got into it. But they also went into it with a competitive idea, you know, to have a better show than me. And I always thought that was a silly way to go about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just the time. I feel like...
I think so.
I think nowadays everyone's more open to working together.
I've noticed that with just, you know, some of the shows I've gone to, the bands are more complimentary of each other and will stick around and watch each other.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times back then, a band would come in, play, leave.
No, so I think the last time we played, and we were like a little burned by it. It was like a big festival going on. I don't remember what the festival was called. And it was supposed to be put on at, like, I don't know what that place is called. The Missouri Valley something. It's by the penitentiary over there.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Yeah, there's like by the 4-H building or whatever.
Yep. We played there once.
And the show got rained out. Like, it was pretty bad. This was like maybe 2014. Like, but it was pretty bad. The show got rained out. The headliners played, but they played in the 4-H building.
Okay.
We got cut. A bunch of people got cut. A bunch of people got, you know, mad about it. You know, just like, oh, we want to play, all that stuff.
Right.
And I remember that really kind of it put us in a weird funk. And the whole band, like my buddy Casey, you know, like he's the drummer. He has to drive here to do this. Drives here, spends gas money to get here. We get cut. And we didn't find out till we're all here. And I remember him just being super pissed and just being like, like, rightly so. Like, I get it. You know, like, and it put a bad taste in all of our mouths. And we honestly stopped playing. Like,
dang. Yeah.
We lost touch with each other. Like, we weren't like, we didn't even talk. It was weird.
Yeah.
And it's not like we, like, cussed each other out and, like, you know, left in a, you know, like, it wasn't like that at all. Like, we just stopped talking. It was super weird. And then we all started doing our own thing. People would buy houses, have kids.
Yep,
stuff like
growing
that.
up.
Yeah. And there was no closure. There was nothing. Just silence. For like 10 years.
Dang.
Yeah. Wild. And then Lane was going to put a show on. He transferred it over to Braden. Braden was reuniting his band. It Came From the Sea. And they asked if we could reunite Vendetta for this thing. And I was like, I kept in touch with Casey over the years, you know, and I kept in touch with Dean and everybody, but not like I never talked about music with them. Just didn't. I was just doing my own thing. I was just accruing music and writing and writing and writing and writing. So I just approached them. I said, do you guys want to do this? And to me, those two are my core. You know, they're like, we can find, you know, people to fill. And like, I have plenty of friends, you know, that could do it. But, you know, Dean, Casey, do you guys want to play this show? And they're like, let's do it. Boom. Instant. Both of them. Right away, they said it. And we just hit the ground running. We just went for it. And we got ready for the show. Filled in our spots. And the lineup that we had at the end of that came back. My buddy.
Oh, okay.
Chris Kaler, he was the guitar player for us at the time then. He had since moved to Minnesota. But he came back, was just like, just say when, you know. And then my buddy Izzy was our bass player at the time. And he wasn't playing music. He was just, you know, working, doing the dad thing. And last minute, we didn't have anybody, you know, to play bass. So like, hey, you want to play bass? He's like, let's do it. So it gave us that closure we needed, you know. Like we were all in that era of the band the way it was supposed to be, you know. And it was cool. They Braden treated us well. We like, I don't know what you would call it. Like, we closed the show out.
Yeah.
People stuck around for us. And that was really, it was a good feeling because I didn't feel like we had any relevancy anymore.
Oh, yeah?
You know, like, what is it? You know, like, these guys don't know who we are. You know, like, it's been, bands come and go in that time period, in 10 years, you know?
Yep. So,
but to have that, like, a little bit of closure, and just not only that, but people actually care. It's kind of nice. You know, it was a packed show. It was really,
it was. I was at that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Great. And everyone stuck around, and just even the band stuck around. And I like, to me, it was like funny because like feeling Hardcore Homecoming was that community that I was looking for when I started the band. And then we just went into a foray of competition. But, you know, here we are, like, 2024, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was good. I feel like that was kind of a big moment for us.
Mm-hmm. So you guys continued after that?
Yeah, we went on this year. Dean had he had a vacation scheduled, like an actual family vacation, because they work so much and they just didn't have the time. And then Braden was like, I'm putting it on this day, when Dean already had it booked. So, So we went and played the show without Dean. My buddy John Nellis filled in vocals for us, and it was good. Good show. Felt the same, similar vibe to last year. You know, like Braden and Lucas do a really good job. They kind of like hold it together. It definitely felt tighter than last year, and I think that was like just taking the feedback that they did and just went into this one with, you know, more of a plan, and it was good. It was good. You could tell. It felt good. Flowed well.
So you're gonna do it again? Are you guys gonna keep up?
I don't know. I think it depends. I definitely like to play with, like, have Dean play with us. Like, that's like my, like, I feel really comfortable with him on stage. But we'll see. I mean, I'm writing. We're working on an album, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How far ahead are you?
It's kind of deep. It's so we're kind of especially me. I'm really getting in my head conceptually. Like, I was like, our last album, the Schrodinger Equation, was like, it was a concept album on the Bhagavad Gita. It's like a Hindu script about a man losing everything and fighting for it, coming back. It was kind of like we like to delve into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like the new stuff that we're working on is more of that. We were kind of talking about how time passed in those 10 years, but like things didn't really change. We just picked up. We just picked up where like we left off.
Yeah,
totally. And it was
totally.
kind of like this time anomaly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like kind of focusing this album on the progression of time and how that affects things, you know, how people change, some things don't, some things do, and just kind of leaning into that, but on a more sci-fi level. So we're doing like it's a concept album broken into 3 parts. Each one's going to be 4 songs, and one is on Terra, which is the Earth, done on the Earth. The second one would be Luna, which is going to be the moon, and the third one is Sol, which is done on the sun. And these are the celestial bodies that affect our perception of time. So that's how we're tying this all together. Each song, each section, we're digging into like a different part of how the band used to sound or does sound. You know, like on Terra, we're looking at that as like the past. So we're digging into like our metalcore roots and kind of doing the thrashy riffs and the staccato riffs and, you know, kind of writing like it's 2008 again.
Yeah.
Know? And then Luna is like the present. So we were working on stuff that was like, oh, this is where we feel comfortable. This is like this is easy for us. This type of music is easy for us. And then we're doing Soul as like the future. So I'm pushing limits. I'm pushing like my limitations. I'm pushing like even the drummer, like everyone's limitations, Casey's limitations, like everyone, we all know what that is going to do and how we get there. So we're all just going to buckle down and literally write almost like movements instead of songs. So we've been thinking of these songs as like a shotgun, right? Just a big blast of a bunch of material. And then we're just going to funnel it down and pick the things that work, that fit the vibe, that fit the like overarching theme that we're going for. And we started that last year, and we started playing the show again and working and all this other stuff, and it went on the back burner a little bit, but now it's come back again, and we have good momentum now, and we're just writing songs, just going for it. But that shotgun approach, especially for me, works really well. I'll write like a bunch of songs in a row, and if they fit or not, then we'll just pick and choose and whittle it down to the things that fit the core. Because I think before we recorded Schrodinger Equation, we didn't have like a plan. Like we had like a general like, this is what we're gonna do, these are kind of the songs we're gonna do, but it was like 85% done. Mm-hmm. So when we went to Josh Schrader in Michigan, and he heard the material and was like, okay, I'll help you get it the rest of the way. So he knew the direction we were going. So it was a little more amorphous and a little more like fly by night. Whereas like now, everything's calculated. Everything is like planned. Like even my like note choices, or like I'll do a motif in one part of the album, and to tie it together, I'm going to bring the motif back in certain areas. So not only do the songs flow together linearly like they would through time, but they would also like connect spatially, like the way time works. So kind of nerdy, kind of like out there a little bit.
You said it was deep, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the abyss.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been like focusing on all kinds of stuff like that. Even like using like nature's frequencies in our songs. Mm-hmm. Like I have a song that I'm working on now. I've been using the frequency of the sun, and it's like in the mix, and it just like gives it this weird unsettling feel like through the whole song.
Cool.
I don't know how we would play that live, but We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
How many guitars do you have?
Right now, I only have 6. I think at one time I had like 12 or 13 at once. Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
I kind of like to, like my guitars, I like to keep them in a sweet spot. Like if they cover a certain tuning range, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, right.
You know, I started getting into collecting gear recently, and my poor Sweetwater cart is like, it's like 10K deep now.
Good God.
And like, I just whittled that thing down. In the past year, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I've just been collecting like cabs. I mean, which is kind of funny because I use like a quad cortex now. It was like a little unit. Has all the tones you'd ever want. Like overkill, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I'm still collecting amps.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like I was telling like, yeah, these are gonna be worth something. You know, like if I have like a tube amp or something really nice, keep it boutique. If I'm like 80, I'll be like, hey, check out this vintage thing. Mm-hmm. You know,
man, that shit used to just get passed around. Yeah. You know, we'd come across old school mixing boards and amps, and they were just hand-me-downs, but it would go from like band to band. You know, we would just pass on this other. It'd be considered junk, and now you look at it and it's like, oh, that was some really nice classic hardware.
I think what I like it too is like this generation of musicians, they don't look at the latest thing and think that's what I want. They pick and choose throughout time. Yeah. And they're like, that one specific pedal has a certain sound that I'm looking for, so I'm going to buy that thing. Like there's an artist, I think his name's like Mick G, and he has like this weird kind of like 80s tone going on, and what he did is he ran his guitar through a Tascam 4-track.
Oh, cool, yeah.
As the preamp. And like that's how he gets this weird almost glassy sound out of like his tone. It's super bizarre. And like because he did that, all of a sudden now people are buying Tascams and they're like way expensive.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, when somebody takes something that's thrift store material.
Yeah.
And does something really cool with it, jacks up the price because now it's in high demand. Yeah. That's happened with keyboards. You know, the little, I can't even think of what kind it was. It was like a kid's keyboard.
Yeah.
That is now super expensive because of one guy made it cool again.
I mean,
I have a Tascam 4-track recorder, so.
Oh, that's
if we ever want to mess around with it. Yeah.
There we go. Make some McG tunes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've just been collecting gear. I get super sweaty about it. Just as sweaty as Marvel movies. Like,
yeah.
I want to know like what's the EQ curve of this speaker sitting in this type of wood, you know, like running this type of driver. Like, what is it? I want to know that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure like my kids get so sick of me just talking about it, but I'll like read stuff on like, oh, did you hear that? Like, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Finding someone to talk gear with is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Then I talk gear with someone, and then I find out I'm way sweatier than they are about it. And then I just feel like the big nerd, and I'm like, okay. I think that more kids should start playing more.
Yeah, totally right.
I do. I think that nowadays there's a lot of good bands out, like the younger guys.
Quality of the bands we have now is amazing.
Absolutely.
I hope that the reason we kept bands going so long and in such a rotation was inspiring younger musicians to become artists themselves. Mm-hmm. And I hope that is still circulating. Yeah. I don't know if it is, though.
I have hope. I like, especially with Hardcore Homecoming, I felt that there was like younger kids there that see it and they like, this is super cool. I want to do this. You know? And like, and I mean, even my son, I try to push him. He's got it. He just doesn't do it. Like,
how old is he?
He's actually 20.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he just turned 20 like a week ago.
Yeah, mine's 23.
Wow.
Yeah, right? What the hell?
That's wild. My daughter turned 18 earlier this year. So she'll be 19 this coming March. But, like, my son has, like, friends, and they're all musicians. And I'm like, you guys, I have gear. Use my gear. Just go do something.
Right. That's so, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they realize how lucky they are.
Yeah, like, I mean, when I was younger, I was picking and choosing, like, could I afford this piece of gear that barely does the thing I need it to do, you know? But now, like, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, all of our gear was janky, and we were just getting speakers, making like a Frankenstein PA system, you know, just to jam out.
Man, we've sung through, like, practice amps and, like, you know.
Yeah, I've used those Barbie microphones.
Yeah. Dude, we had an old Radio Shack microphone that was just a tank.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know what it was. It just said Radio Shack on it.
Yeah.
But this thing was, like, dirty. It was, like, bent up. But for some reason, it would, like... I think it even fell in water one time, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And I think I can still dig it out. I think I still have it in my gear.
Yeah, some of that old school gear would last through some of our shit, you know. Much of it had beer stained all over it. I don't know how it survived. And maybe it didn't.
I noticed I have some guitars that I actually have sweat polish because I've like sweat and played them so much that they're like
shiny.
They're shiny.
That's awesome.
I wish things were built that way still.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's plastic and made cheaper. And although a lot of it being cheaper is more accessible to younger artists wanting to start, you know, I feel like it was really difficult for us at first.
I think too, like, music definitely, especially gear now, it fits the genres that we're looking for. Mm-hmm. Whereas back in the day, you were using something that wasn't made for what you're using it for.
Right.
You know, like, I had this blues, you know, like, Fender amp that I was like, you know, you were gaining the shit out of, you know, and like throwing overdrives in front of it and throwing distortion pedals for just so that you could get the sound you were looking for. But now it's like, you can pick and choose. Like,
and now having the access to recording too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been asking other younger acts and whatnot, oh, where are you recording at? It's like, oh, myself, my bedroom. Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, yes, that makes sense. But
yeah, I mean, for me, especially, works super, super easy. Like, if I get an idea, I just sit down, I just do it, knock it out.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Get it over with, get it out. Don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah. Back in the day, we were using a cassette tape recorder. It had a little microphone on it, just for writing riffs and trying to figure out our songs that way or by myself.
I was going to ask you, and then, what is your writing process?
Oh, it's kind of a tough question, I guess. You know, I'm more the interviewer for one. So how dare you come on my show and start asking me questions? Usually it just starts with a riff.
Yeah.
You know, if I digging around and then I start hearing something kind of neat, I'll just go with that.
I've come across a unique problem with my stuff where, like, I'll write, my volume is so high that I'll forget.
Like something you wrote?
Yeah. So I have to, like, actually write it out so that I can go back and look at it. Where I'm like, and sometimes it's crude, sometimes it's tab, you know, like, sometimes it's a shape, which is kind of weird. Like, this shape
but it
reminds
makes sense
me.
To you.
Yeah. I'll come back and, like, I have, like, these hieroglyphs, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's that thing.
Right.
This is the pattern.
Somebody else would see it as witchcraft.
Yeah,
and you're like, no, I'm just writing.
That's not a real, that's wingdings. That's not a real thing. But, like, yeah, just, I mean, I think about that too. Have you had riffs that, like, changed? Like, when you wrote it and then all of a sudden you're playing it live and you're not doing it the same way anymore.
Yeah. That's funny. There was a riff I was sitting on for a while, and then I changed it to like a 3/4 time. And then I wanted to do something else with it. I almost started a new band, and I wanted to see how it would sound electronic, like digitally. So I started fucking around with Fruit Loops and whatnot, and then it changed again and added some different beats. And then I needed something for an intro for this podcast. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use this. And then, yeah, that's just what it is now. The intro to this was like an old riff. Yeah.
That's funny, because I was going to ask you about that too.
Oh,
if you wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's got kind of a 80s sound to it. But I wanted something like that for, like my first car. I don't know why. It was either going to be that or classic rock kind of sound. And I wasn't quite feeling that.
I think that like this works better than classic rock, because I think like the way you wrote this, the vibe, the feel that I get from it.
Yeah.
It feels nostalgic.
Right.
But but not like overtly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of cool. Like it feels inquisitive. I don't know if that's an interesting, but I try to break my songs down into feelings. Like,
oh, nice.
Like,
right.
This is the feeling that I get.
Yeah.
I used to I'd go around and take photos, like liminal photography.
Oh, okay.
Like empty parking lots or like a hallway. And then I would just like edit it so that it seemed creepier. Mm-hmm. And then I would take that feeling I get from that photo and I would try to match it with like a movement or like a riff or like, and if it felt and the vibe felt right, I'm like, that's it. And then I'll just run with it.
Nice.
So, inspiration, like it comes from anywhere. Like I've woken up in the middle of the night and wrote a song, because I dreamt some stupid thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like a curse, I think.
It must be. And a gift. I don't know. I was never quite that gifted in a sense with just writing, pulling riffs out of my ass and going with it. Or at least, what'd you say, 120 some recorded?
Yeah. Well, just that year.
See, yeah, fuck you. So I'll get stuck on a riff too. If I don't know where to go with it, then I can't finish it. So it just sits in my head. I don't record it. It'll just sit there. And then when I pick up the guitar, I always revert to that because it's unfinished.
Oh, that's cool that you can remember it even.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome because like for me, like.
But that's because I'm not doing 120 a year.
Yeah.
For one.
No, that's like.
But I should record these and kind of move on in a sense.
Yeah.
So I get stuck in that aspect.
I think like for me, it like helps me tackle running into like writer's block. Mm-hmm. Right. So it doesn't matter if I get away from the preconceived notion of what it's going to sound like and all that, and it doesn't end up sounding the way I want it to, I get it out anyways.
Okay.
And just so then that way I can move on. And I'm not going to sit there and stew on this thing. So then like later on.
See, that's part of my problem. Yeah. Nice.
Then later on I come back and I'm like, then I can give it new eyes, new ears. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's why it didn't work because that part sucks. And just delete that, do another part. So, I mean, not being attached to ideas. I think like, especially for younger artists, volume, I think is where you get quality from. Like I've always felt,
oh yeah,
like because you can remix your own stuff.
Yeah,
you can always come back and be like, "There's something here. It needs more attention."
Mm-hmm.
Like rarely do I have songs that are 100% finished when I write them. Like almost never, and you have to just accept that. Like I just accept it. I'm like this isn't gonna be done, but it will be. It's just like. I don't know, like an octopus spinning plates or something. Like you have 4 or 5 songs at once.
Mm-hmm, right.
Coming back and, checking it out and being like, that works, that doesn't.
I've never been in a band that had such a volume where when it came to album time that we would cut songs for the album. It would be, we have 8 to 10 songs. Now let's get 10 to 12 and then we'll have a full album, we'd always be a little bit short and then add, or you get just enough where it's like, okay, we have about 10 songs now. Let's record these. It'll be our album. I don't know if there's ever been one that got cut.
I think that in the past, like especially older Vendetta stuff, like that's how it was for us too. Like this is just enough for a set.
Mm-hmm.
We put 2 more songs on. Now it's an album, you know. But like I think like me taking the time away from the band, not you know, running that horse ragged, just letting everyone breathe. Like coming back as a more mature artist and a more mature musician, knowing to be tasteful. Now I have volume. Now I just have like, oh, okay, we can just pick and choose now. But it's reps, just reps over and over and over and over. It's hundreds of bad recordings. Like I can't release, like if I release all of that stuff and people will be like, this guy sucks. But like you can polish some of those turds into something, you know.
Yeah. Good talk, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to hang out more often for one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You live in town?
I do.
Okay. Sweet.
I do.
You camp? You do any other activities?
I camp. We have a camper, a fifth wheel.
Okay.
Bought it in like, I don't know, 2022, I'm guessing.
Oh, it's newish.
Newish,
to you at least, yeah.
We had it built. And so we were the only owners. But learning the curve, man, I had no clue. I didn't know how deep that went. Like camping and like with campers especially, like it's wild. It's a whole nother world.
It's funny how I was kind of the same as you when it came to collecting gear for music. Mm-hmm. And when I get into a hobby or something, I have to have everything that I need at my fingertips. So yeah, when I was doing playing in bands, I would need everything for a sound system, and then everything for not just my guitar, but also others that are going to show up and play and not have this and that. And even instruments I never played, I would get, you know, like a mandolin. I played it to myself, but never on stage. And now with camping, I'm getting lights and cooking gear and different chairs and trading up on other stuff and downsizing and knowing what works and what doesn't. And I have so much shit that, yeah, I could camp for weeks.
Yeah, honestly, there's like, even like little stands for like the jack stands. There's like different kinds of chalks. There's like leveling planks and so apparently not all water is created the same. I didn't know this. So you take your water, you plug it in, goes into like a filter. The filter goes into a stopper, and the stopper slows the water down so you don't ruin your camper. I had no clue that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's like, people are like, oh, this handle sucks, so we 3D printed a new handle. Oh, so now you find this guy and 3D print a freaking handle so that you can put the spout on easier.
Oh, cool.
And like, you know, like there's like all this crazy stuff. I love my camper, but it was way more work than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like, and then like my son, my family was saying like, yeah, we should get a boat. And I'm like, no.
Don't do that. Yeah.
It's gonna be a whole
I've heard other people.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had friends who have had boats and they just spent more money on that boat.
Yeah.
Until they got rid of that boat.
Yeah. I have one of my cousins has one and he was telling me, you should get one too. And I'm like, nope. I don't want to get into that.
Yep.
That's like a whole nother thing. And like, I don't have the time.
Yeah, you have to be a boat person.
Yeah.
And you got to be out fishing and using that all the time.
Yeah. I'd probably use it twice a year if that.
Right.
If that. I use my camper a lot more now. Well, when we first got it, it was like this trip, that trip, this trip. But then I realized it doesn't have to be like that. Like, so since I worked down at the casino, we've been taking it down there and I just stay there. You know, like they have a marina down there. It's like, you know.
Yeah, no Taylor and I took a camper up there one time for a show, and then we slept outside. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, no, I just camping, got into that, super super sweaty about it. I didn't think I would like it, but I do now.
Yeah.
I'm a convert. Like, I love it now.
Yeah, nice.
So, I don't know. Whenever people say, like, oh, yeah, I want to get one too, I'm like, there should be, like, caveat. Like, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff that you didn't want to know about, but now you're going to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had some close calls. We've had, like, things happen to it before. Like, one time, one of my son's friends had, like, used the toilet, and he kept it open just a tiny bit, and the water kept flowing.
Oh, shitty.
So, because the water was on, it kept flowing, and it filled up the tank.
Yeah.
And then when it filled up the tank, it came out the toilet, and then it overflowed the toilet, and then it got into the vent system.
Oh.
So luckily, he was the only one who used it. And
right, so it wasn't like shitty, poopy water.
There was no number twos in there,
yeah.
you know? And we had to go and, like, drain it out. Go underneath, take the skirt off, and pull everything out, and, like, let the water drain out. And I'm just laying on gravel, just kicking water out of this thing, and we saved it. I actually didn't need any maintenance done.
Good.
Which is crazy, but then, lesson learned.
Yeah.
Check the toilet, make sure it closes so the thing doesn't, like, keep flowing. But, you know, I don't know. I like it, but definitely it's intermediate.
Yeah,
you know, you know, and like I saw yours. That thing is nice.
Oh yeah, we got that from Taylor's parents. That thing was in rough shape. It still is. But the sliding bars were all bowed out like this, and canvas, a top part of it is actually separating from the roof of the camper. So I drilled all that back in. Everything's pretty janky maintenance that I did to it.
Well, that's cool though. Like, fixing that up, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're gonna use it in a week and a half. Or October 10th is the last time you can camp at Sibley. So we'll be down there. If you want to get out and about, try and get a spot down there. We only got a few more days of camping season.
I should. My drummer lives in, like, close to Red Lake Falls, Minnesota. And I take my camper just for the excuse of taking it.
Yeah.
And I just back it into his, like, like, into his yard and just, like,
nice.
Hang out there. So, like, getting used to driving that thing, and it's, like, huge. It's like I don't remember. I think it's like a 42-foot, something like that. Not camping at all. Like, when people say, "Oh, it's a camper," I'm like, no, it's not a camper. Like, this isn't camping. Camping is, like, feeling the ground and, like, you know, feeling the elements a little bit.
Yeah.
And, like, I have air conditioning in there, and I have, like, a fridge, and I have, like, 2 bathrooms, and, like, you know, stuff like that's glamping. That's not camping at all.
I remember I was talking to this one guy about our river cruise trip, you know, and that he should join us, and we'll get on our kayak or canoe, and we'll go down the river with a group of people, and we bring our tent and our sleeping bags and our air mattress. And then he started laughing, and he's like, "That's not camping. That's glamping." And I was like, "Wait, what?" We're in a tent, we're on a sandbar in the middle of nowhere. We took our canoe to get here, and because I'm using an air mattress, I'm glamping. I was like, all right, fella.
I mean, on the other hand, though, like, I've seen the extreme. I've done the total opposite of that. You know, now I'm older. My knees and my back are like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to.
Yeah. No, I know.
I don't want to go get bit up by ants.
Yeah.
you know, or something, you know. But I remember doing that when I was younger. My grandfather used to take me, and we would go out, and we would catch rabbits, and we would, like, cook them. Or, like,
for dinner.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I love that kind of thing. Like, getting out there with just a knife and, like, finding, you know, things from the earth and, like, coming back, and, like, it's kind of cool. Like, I don't know. I really dig it. I mean, it's affected my cooking style, honestly. When I cook, I focus on, like, indigenous food, but I also, like, incorporate like the relationship of like fire,
Yeah.
because I think that's super important. We've cooked on fires for thousands of years. Like this is level 1. This is humanity level 1, you know. So I love that. There's something super romantic about it too, you know, like it's a dance, it's a relationship. I'm like feeding this fire, and it's a like, because it's a relationship, I'm taking care of it. It's taking care of me, you know. Like,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah. That goes hand in hand too. That's like part of it, not just being away from people, which is a huge plus, but doing your cooking and just hiking too, getting out there in that nature and
Yeah.
and breathing that air. Although this summer has been kind of shitty because we've gone camping and then it's just a smog of wildfire smoke covering the whole area. That's happened a few times now this summer, and that's our future. You know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, like I said, thank you for coming in, and pleasure seeing you again. It's been far too long, so let's hang out again soon, all right?
Sure.